Hi everyone, Declan here, the editor of The Inside Job. In today's episode, Ayana interviews Georgia Forbes, former executive director at Goldman Sachs and current managing director at Coral Consulting, and executive director and founder of Ionic 6. In this week's episode, we receive an insight into what it takes to walk away from a successful career in order to start your own business. Georgia also shares her success habits and gives her tips on managing stress. Also, keep an eye out for today's surprise guest appearance. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Inside Job. Today, I am honored to have Georgia Forbes, a woman that climbed the ladder of success in corporate America all the way to becoming executive director at Goldman Sachs. At the height of her career, she decided to walk away from it all and build her own brand. Today, she is managing partner and founder of Coral Consulting and executive director and founder of Ionic 6. Please join me in welcoming Georgia. Georgia, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Ayana, thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here today.
Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, you were definitely climbing the ladder of success in corporate America. Most recently, you worked for Goldman Sachs. You started out as a consultant, climbed your way up to vice president, and most lastly, as an executive director for information technology security. When did lightning strike for you? Meaning, when did you decide, this is it, I'm gonna walk away from all of this and become my own boss?
You know, my lightning strike was probably a little bit more of a slow tickle. You know, it didn't happen overnight for me. It started with this feeling of being unsettled, just feeling unfulfilled, and that I had more to offer. And I really looked around and tried to figure out what that was. And that's how Ionic 6 started. I wanted to be in a position to give back. I felt I had so much. And it gave birth to Ionic 6 while I was still at Goldman, which was very supportive because they do a lot of philanthropic works. But I found that while I enjoyed Ionic 6, in my professional life, I was still not feeling as fulfilled as I thought I could be. And I still felt I had more to offer. And I didn't know what my next move was going to be, but I knew that I owed it to myself to find out. And my initial thought was, Georgia, just go get a job at another financial services organization and you'll be fine. And I realized that wasn't the answer, because the challenge wasn't with the firm. The challenge was with me. I had changed, and what I wanted has changed, and my measures of success had also changed. Okay. So I actually took some time. I stepped back from some of my extracurricular and volunteer activities, my social activities, and spent a lot of time by myself, really thinking through, questioning, and trying to figure out what it was that I felt was missing from my life. And what came to me was that I wanted to be in a space where I was truly and completely defining my own destiny and charting my own course.
Okay.
You know, my tenure at Goldman was amazing. I learned a tremendous amount. I gained exposure to things I probably wouldn't have if I hadn't been there. I built wonderful relationships, but I realized it was time for me to move on to the next stage and the next chapter in my life. I took some time to evaluate what I enjoyed, what I was strong at, what I liked doing, and what area I thought I'd be able to make a difference in. And that was what gave birth to Coral. Coral Consulting is about focusing and working and partnering with small to mid-sized businesses that are in sort of a growth stage and typically don't have access to the type of resources and services and knowledge and expertise that I bring to the table. And I wanted to take a lot of what's in corporate America and with the Fortune 100 companies and bring that to the mid-sized business that sometimes they're so focused on their actual service, they're unable to really tap into the resources that can really elevate their brand and their business.
Okay, well, you just answered question 1 and 2 and 3. So at this point, you're fully transitioned, and you are, you're now with Coral Consulting. Now, before you transitioned, I imagine that you must have had a plan, some action plan. Can you share with me give me an outline of what that plan looked like?
My transition was actually something that I did over the course of about 2.5 years.
Okay, so you didn't just leave right away.
I did not just leave, right? I was at a stage in my career where there were certain factors that was important to me. One, I had spent almost 12 years at Goldman, and it was a place that became home for me and relationships that I cherished. I certainly didn't want to leave in a disruptive manner, and I wanted to make sure I managed my transition out appropriately. Additionally, even though the idea sounds great, you want to start a business, there are things that really, in order to enable or improve the likelihood of success, that should be in place before you do so. Fortunately for me, I was employed, so I had financial stability at that time in order to start putting things in place. And what I did was I did research. Although I was already at Goldman, I'm starting a new business. There are things that I want to make sure that I am well versed in and aware of before moving in. So what was my startup capital going to look like? What type of resources did I need to get started? Is it something that I could manage without having a physical office space to start with? And all of those concerns that I wanted to address. Additionally, I spoke to people. I talked to people who were already in the business, if they were consultants, or people who already had their own businesses. I even spoke to the people who would be part of my client base. So is this a service they would be interested in, that they'd be willing to pay for? And was there actually a need, or was it just something I made up? So there was really a lot of legwork that I had to put into place. And then once I did that, it was about me figuring out, all right, what's the appropriate timeline? How much time do I need to set up some of these things that once I transition out, it's essentially moving into whatever this new role is that I'm setting up for myself. And that took me 2 years. That took a little over 2 years. I wasn't in a rush, which I'm thankful to say. Again, my performance was still great at Goldman, and that was something I wanted to hold on to because my reputation was important to me. And I wanted that to be something that I carried with me as something that I can leverage with talking with my clients, right? So there's a level of professionalism, a level of expertise, a level of knowledge that I wanted to be able to take with me. And I was able to do that. So over the course of the 2 years, I built relationships. I built a new network that would be able to help me facilitate and grow my brand. And I did research, and I became informed and got all of the resources that I would need. So at the point where it came for the transition, it was a relatively easy step.
That was excellent advice. And I think one of the couple of things that you said that's very important. You are financially stable. So, if you're looking to start a business, make sure that you have some sort of a money, because I know the first few years, you're probably not going to make a profit. So I think that's important. And then another thing that you mentioned was do your research. Make sure there's a demand for the type of business that you're planning on starting and building relationships. So all excellent points that I think that, someone that's looking to start should think about. So we spoke earlier about Ionic 6. Can you tell me a little bit more about that organization? And what was the inspiration behind that?
So Ionic 6 is a nonprofit I started. Our focus is working with middle school age students, so typically anywhere from 10 to 15, and we provide STEM-based programming. So we do a lot of computer, technology, engineering-based work, and the intent is to make this accessible to an audience that does not normally have access to these resources. STEM programs are very expensive. They're very costly resources to have. And most program, even just for summer program, can cost families thousands of dollars. If you think about the low to middle income families who are working hard, they're trying to prepare their children for success, and while they may be interested, financially is just outside of their reach. Now, while I was at Goldman, I used to do recruiting. And it came to me that I'd go to these colleges and these schools, see all of these wonderful candidates, and realize there was a lack of diversity in some of the candidates that I was seeing. And as I thought back to my own experience, I wasn't introduced to computers until I went to college. And in today's environment, that's way too late, right? As has become apparent from the current pandemic we're in, technology, resources, and skills are essential for success in any field that you need.
That's a great point.
Learning has become fully remote, and so many of our students have been unprepared for working in that type of environment. And Ionic 6's focus was preparing our students for success in the future in any field or any industry. So while our skill-based is focused on technology and teaching students how to become savvy with that, we also teach them how to be innovators and creators of the resources they have. Go beyond playing games on your device to understand the inner workings and how to create those games if you want to.
That's a great point.
So as part of our program, we do summer programs, we do after school, in some instances we'll do in-school programs, but we also invite professionals in to speak with our students. So individuals in various career paths in a STEM-related field, students get to speak with them one-on-one in a very close-knit environment, ask questions, and see that success is possible when they can have it right in front of them. Additionally, we take them on trips. We bring them to visit technology at work. So we'll go to different organizations or businesses, financial institutions, and they get to see it in the real world environment, which makes it a lot more applicable and understandable. Like, wow, this is so cool. This is something that I can see myself doing in the future. Yes. One of the biggest things that I've seen with some of our students is that it's expanded their scope of thinking. Children kind of go with what they see as markers of success. So whoever the professionals are or the fields are of the success in their neighborhoods is the markers, or the success in their family, and that's what they strive to. This gives them an opportunity to expand their borders and their thinking and realize that there are so many other fields that are there that they may be interested in, and that not only that, they can excel in.
And speaking of marker of success, famous actor Mark Wahlberg attributes his success to having discipline in physical fitness, faith, and his career. And what he does, he starts off his day at 5:30 every morning with a workout routine followed by a healthy meal and church. And he does all of that before 9 a.m. Now, what are some daily habits that you have that you feel helped you to maintain your success?
The starting the day early is absolutely an important factor. And it's something that I had to develop and learn. Certainly before I was not a morning person. I'd want to sleep as late as possible, but I'd stay up really late at nights. I was more of a night owl and I felt more productive. Now, in the last couple of years when I've really been driving and pushing myself, I start my day at 5:30. I start my day at 5:30 in the morning. I do the same. I exercise. I have a dog. I go out and I run with him. And it's a great way to start the day. And I don't schedule any meetings until 9:30. So I do not have any meetings before 9:30 a.m. And even though I'm awake, because that time in the morning is for me. It's for me to focus on me and preparing myself for the day ahead. So I exercise, I play with my dog, which actually is a great stress reliever and helps me to clear my head and to think through. I make time to pray, which was something I had gotten too busy to do before. But now this morning time that I have is to focus on me, and I'll have breakfast and I'll send emails. Now, I don't respond to any. I don't look at any new messages that come in until after 9 o'clock, because I have cordoned off this segment of the morning for the things that I want to focus on.
So 5:30 to 9 is your me time.
5:30 to 9 is all mine.
And you mentioned playing with a dog. Did I see a dog's head kind of peep up
You
just
did.
now? And if that special guest is there, you can say hi, he or she.
That's my dog Marley. And actually, I've always wanted a dog. I had a dog when I was a child, and I was always too busy for one. So I did not get him until after I made my transition and had started my own business, where I have greater flexibility around my schedule and would be better able to accommodate.
And I think the point you mentioned about the dog being a stress reliever is true. I've never considered myself to be a dog person. I just think it's a lot of work, and I'm Jamaican, and where I come from, dogs walk themselves, man don't walk dog. Until I got married, and then my husband, he already had a dog, a little dog, so I inherited the dog. And it is true. Now I try to rub him or have him sit on me when I feel stressed. Sometimes he's irritated because he really doesn't want to be a stress reliever. He just wants to be left alone. But it is true. It does help. In the morning, I pick him up every morning. And if I'm not walking him, then I am sitting in the couch or running up and down with him. So it does help. And I think the me time that you mentioned as well, not responding to emails and everything before you have gotten your zen and everything in. And that's a great point. And it helps you to stay centered and focused. Now, if you had one piece of advice for someone that is just starting out and they're getting ready to start their own business, what would that be? What's that one piece of advice you would give to someone that's looking to start their business now?
Believe in yourself. And the reason is, when you're starting a business and you have this great idea and you are convinced it's going to be successful, unfortunately, success does not always come that easily. And there are obstacles that will come, difficulties. The statistics show most businesses don't succeed, right? Unless if you can make it beyond your first 3 years, the odds increase significantly that you'll be successful beyond that. But the first 3 years are very difficult. You're establishing a brand of whatever it is you're doing, getting your market base, and competing with anyone else that's already established in the space. And this can become discouraging. Especially if you are doing this on your own and if you don't already have a really strong support network behind you that, one, can see your vision and support it even when it's unpopular. And in those instances, it's really, really important that you continue to have faith in you. You did not begin that journey lightly, and you really have to be able to stay true to that. And, there may be moments you get down, but don't stay there. You have to reinforce and stay focused on essentially the end goal. anything worth having always requires a lot of hard work. And this is a part of it. So believe in yourself, in your capability. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Even when no one else can see what you see, continue to believe.
Believe in yourself. And to what or whom do you attribute your success?
So for my success, I really think that my upbringing contributes significantly to that.
How so?
And, when you're younger, you don't really understand or see all of that, but a lot of the principles and the values that I continue to utilize and that help to keep me moving forward today are principles that were, instilled in me.
He wants to be seen.
Always. A lot of the principles and values that drive me today are principles and values that I learned from a younger age, right? So the one around always do your best, right? Put your best foot forward and make your best effort all the time. Now, that didn't always result in 100 on the test in school, but what you walk away with is knowing that you made your best effort and you didn't just do a halfway job. So excellence in all you do, in all manner, no matter how small or simple the task, always strive to do your best. And I think that's something that certainly contributed to my success. Being mindful of the company you keep. Right? Who are the people that you are surrounding yourself with? Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Never understood that growing up, right? But now I get it. You surround yourself with people who are not like-minded. It doesn't have to be like-minded. They should challenge you. They may be smarter than you. They push you to grow. They support you. So diversity of thoughts is important, but you have to be mindful of the individuals that you are surrounding yourself with. And so you surround yourself with people who are going to help you to move forward and that you are also going to do the same with, right? I enjoy when I'm in a room of people and I don't feel like I am the smartest one there. It shows me that there's a lot.
How about now? I'm just kidding.
I've got Marley beat. And it shows where I have things to learn and to grow. And these are the people you always want to be around, right? Because they challenge you to do better and to move beyond yourself. My faith in going to church, believing in God, is something that I learned at an early age. And at that time, it felt like a responsibility that I had to do it and there wasn't any choice. But in those difficult moments and in those difficult times, having that grounding and that foundation that there is someone that's stronger than me, that's in control and that understands, helps me to know that there is more and that I can continue despite what I may be feeling within that moment. And ultimately, my parents, right? They always wanted me to expect the best for myself. And so whatever my dreams or aspirations were, they never made them seem like they were out of reach, right? They were always attainable, no matter how big they were. So I was encouraged to dream big and to look beyond where I was. And all of those are principles that I continue to apply in my everyday life without even actively knowing it, right? It's just, they're a part of me. They're a part of me and they're a part of what I do.
Marley agrees. Dog agrees. He's like, that's right. Amen.
He's with it.
And, I always like to end my show with this question in 15 seconds or less. Tell me what the biggest takeaway, and it's a lot. You've given us so much information. Tell me what our biggest takeaway from this conversation should be.
Develop your own vision, right? With guidance, whether it's from your faith or what that guidance may be, but don't let your path be determined by external factors.
Develop your own vision, but don't let your path be determined by external factors. I am the smartest one in this room. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Georgia and Marley, for being a part of the Inside Job today. Before I let you go, I just wanted to get some more information on Ionic 6 in case there are people out there that want some more information or they're interested in making a donation. How can they find you?
So we are online. We are at Ionic 6, and that's the number 6.org. We would love to have you follow us on social media. So Ionic 6 NYC is our handle on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, you know, you can go directly to our website to donate. There is a donate button. All of the funds go directly to our programs. I did forget to mention that our programs are offered free of charge to families that participate. And this is around making it accessible and available. And all donations help for us to continue to provide our services and programs to families who need them.
Okay, and I will post all that information in case someone's missed it. At the end of this show, I'll have that at the bottom. Thank you so much again for coming and for sitting there and being a part of the show.
Ayana, thank you. It was such a pleasure talking with you today.
Likewise. And for you out there, thank you for watching another episode of The Inside Job. Please remember to tune in next week, Thursday, when we have a whole new great episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like below. And if you have any questions or any comments, any suggestions, also please feel free to put that in the comments area below. Thank you so much again, Georgia. Thank you guys so much again for watching. God bless you guys and be safe.